That's all you need to know. So social media, real room, real people. So what would you do in a real room, and what wouldn't you do? You apply that online. Okay, we don't need to learn new techniques, new skills. We actually just need to be human online. Okay, so there's certain things you wouldn't do online. In real rooms, like you wouldn't introduce yourself as I am University of Bristol of Brighton. You say I am so and so from the University of Brighton. You know, you wouldn't introduce yourself as a logo. You'd be you. And for many people, that's the barrier, because I've got to be me online. Yeah, you have, and that's a great thing, by the way, because people like people, and they like connecting and talking to people. They don't like connecting to logos, you know. The big followers, the big networkers, the connectors online at the moment are having big success with this stuff are people, not organisations. Okay, so it's a very democratizing thing happening online. So that's the kind of the start you are. Real room, real people. You know how to be a person, so straight away you know how to use social media, because that's all you've got to do. The skills can come next, you know, but that's the strategy behind all this stuff. Let's define it for you, because maybe I don't know if you have a definition for social media in your brains, I don't know, but this is the really simplest definition you can come up with. It's digital dialogue. 2 words, that's all you've got to remember. You know, digital, because obviously we're using technologies or the web, obviously, but the dialogue bit is really important, because most people use these technologies as a broadcast mechanism, and that's monologue, and that's broadcasting, and that's why marketeers and PR relations are kind of doing it wrong when they just pump out their press releases to Twitter. They kind of get it wrong, you know. It's not about that, it's about connecting with other people. And yeah, it takes a little bit more time than just pumping stuff out, but it actually has bigger rewards when you talk to people, as you know. When you're in a room talking to people, it's much better when someone's talking to you. Yeah, so that's the thing. But also we need to define it a little bit more, which I touched on already, which is social networking. I mean by the Facebooks, you know, the Zangers, the Boxes, the Deviant Arts, the so on and so forth. So all the social networking sites out there is like a small piece of the social media pie. So if you just focus on this area, and some people do, you're kind of missing out on all the good stuff. Not all the good stuff, but all the other stuff like Google Docs that we just touched on, about wikis and collaborative learning and saving your print budgets and stuff like that. That's all social media. Yeah, it's got nothing to do with social networking, which I'll get into, you know. But I really want to blow your brains a little bit open from the perspective of social media is not social networking. Those are 2 different things. A lot of people get it wrong. When you talk about social media, they mean social networking. Okay, so already, hopefully, I've kind of challenged some assumptions there. Hopefully. But let's get into the good stuff now. Lovely phrase online at the moment called the humanization of brands. Okay, so really simple idea this. And it's personified really by this guy. Do you know who this guy is? Anybody? No? I came across him about 2 years ago, and he's a beast online. He's actually a beast. And there's a guy called Gary Vaynerchuk, that's his name, or Gary V for short. You'll find him online called Gary V. What he's doing there is he's taking his episode of Wine Library TV, because he's a wine seller, okay? It's his dad's business, right? And he now runs his dad's business. And he's taken his dad's business basically from a 4 million to a 45 million turnover company in 5 years. Now I'm talking corporate here, you might be thinking, yeah, but we're a learning institution, blah, blah, blah. There are huge learning gains to look outside your sector here. You know, look at other Fords and Kodaks are using social media and then apply them to how you're using it, okay? But the reason I'm showing you this guy is because he says something really interesting about social. And that's this, a website, and I've been on your website, by the way, okay, having a look at how you can communicate. And that communicates the logistics, because you are in the sales game, by the way. You're putting on courses, people come to you and give you money, and then get education back. That's a sales transaction right there, okay? And your website facilitates that process by communicating what you have on offer. Okay, so that's the first thing. A blog or social media, that's what he said, is the essence of your brand. Now, reading your stuff online at the moment about the courses that you run, there's no you in it. And I probably agree with that. It's nothing to do with the essence of the course. You know, well, why is this course different than the one down the road in some other college? You know, where's the differentiator? And usually differentiators are people. You know, the lecturers, the enthusiastic lecturer who's done X, Y, and Z, he's written this book, he's amazing. You know, and that's what social can bring. that humanisation of your course, in a sense, or what you have on offer here. At the moment it's quite flat. It's like, we do this. Yeah, but who does it? You know, even clicking through to your profiles, like I went through the J profile only because I'm in J, and it's literally J profile, and nothing else about you on the website. It's like, oh, you know, and I know she's a person, you know, I know she exists, but there's nothing online, you know, not even a picture. It's like, oh, it's a bit of a shame, you know. So that's that humanisation aspect of, again, the golden rule, which is real people. This guy in the original. You're obviously facing a lot of constraints at the moment, budgetary or however, resource constraints, capacity, and stuff like that. We love constraints. Really, we got this little saying is the more constraints you give me, the more creative I've got to become. So we embrace constraints. And I want to kind of share with you two stories about this idea, because from a public sector institution, you're facing this, and I know you are, you know, at the moment. We're not telling them to hit the drink, by the way. This has actually got a story behind this. It's not just drink until things become slow again. Martini, let's rewind a little bit. This idea came from the BBC. 6 years ago, we did a small piece of work with the BBC, and we nicked this idea, but liberated this idea from them. Okay, and this is why I love working with different sectors, because you know other people are doing it, then I lift that and bring it to other people who never would have known about this. So this is the idea about Martini Media. So we're doing a piece of work with BBC. They were saying, we heard this Martini Media phrase kind of being bandied around. What's that? And they explained it. It's really nice. You know the tagline, Martini, you know, the advertising tagline, anytime, any place, anywhere? Yeah, okay. Think about that in terms of Martini Media. So media that can be accessed anytime, any place, anywhere. That's what the BBC were thinking of. This is pre-iPlayer, before the iPlayer came out. Because they started to understand the technology was driving the capacity to access stuff, media stuff, anytime, any place, anywhere. And they knew that was only going to become better, faster, and easier and more prevalent as technology gets bigger and quicker, but also gets cheaper and more accessible. Okay, so they understood this. So think about it from your perspective. Your course materials, is it still on dead trees? You know, for example, can it be accessed anytime, any place, anywhere? Can your lectures be downloaded? Don't know, but a lot of universities, especially like Harvard and stuff, are doing this type of idea. But I'll give you another example of this as well to kind of contextualize it a little bit further. We did a small piece of work with a theatre up in Liverpool, the Everyman and Playhouse Theatre. Don't know if you're aware of it. And we did a really simple piece of work from the perspective of we had a brief that said, online, get more young people to attend this play. Really simple, the simplest brief we've ever had, but it was full of constraints. Because the brief also then went on to say that the play starts next week. Yeah. We've got no money, got no time, got no resources, got no ideas. Okay, brilliant. So we have to come up with some crazy ideas. And we actually nicked an idea from them. Was, I'm sure you've seen it, advertised in local papers, where cut this out, bring it along to the box office, get in for like a third off or 5% off. You know, it was a voucher system, you know, and it's been done so many places, so many industries. And we just digitalized that voucher system. We put them on mobiles. These are some of the characters from the play, from this youth play. Talking in character, something provocative, you know, a few lines, literally 5 seconds worth here. And then that faded to black, this little video faded to black, and it said, show up at the box office with this, and you'll get it for the third off. You know, it's the same idea, we just digitalized it, that's all. We went into 2 existing groups of young people, about 20 per group, already associated to the theatre, already had links, and we just said, turn your Bluetooth on, guys, we can share you some content. Bluetooth is a way of sharing content between devices, it doesn't cost any money, it's not like a text message, it costs money, this is free. And we just shared them with this. There was 6 in the end, not 4. We didn't share them all at once. We shared a few over there, a few over there. Then the sharing started between themselves because they realised there was other things. Okay, that sharing activity. We all like to collect this in our nature. And we just said, look, distribute that to anybody you think would have an interest in this. The play had already started before we did this. It was a 3-week run. And what was really interesting, that idea that they did previously, where they cut it out in a newspaper, they advertised in the newspaper, They had one person turn up with that piece of paper, you know, from 3 months ago. We had 200 kids turn up with these, you know. We only distributed it to like 40 kids, and they distributed it on, blah, 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 blah. And imagine if we had a month run-up, you know, hitting all the schools with that, you know, but we didn't. And this was the first test of this idea of marketing media, anytime, any place, anywhere, because you could download this off the website as well. If you haven't received it, you go on the website and download it onto your mobile device, or you could share it with your friends and text it forward and stuff like that.
Do they tend to text forward, or do they tend to Bluetooth as well along with their friends, or you don't know?
Sorry?
When they were